The mild type of equation or problem with isosceles triangle is basically an empty triangle with markings. They give you one angle. So all you have to do is realize on number 1 that 68 is a base angle because this one is the vertex. That means this gets copied, and we already know what J is. And all you got to do left for the vertex is just 180 and minus those two 68s. That's it. Number 2, that's the vertex angle. That means that one's by itself, and the other two angles are equal. So how do I find those two? Well, if I take 180 and get rid of the 106, I have 74 left. So those two are not 74. They add up to 74. So all you got to do is do what to the 74? What do you think? Just divide it by 2. So 74 divided by 2 is 37. So both of those are the base angles and they're equal. 37. Hope that was easy. All right, number 3. If these two are the base angles, that means these two are the equal legs. Because the vertex has to be up here, across from that base. The vertex is across from the base. So that means YZ is 12 centimeters, or is 12. And angle Y can be found by subtracting 180 minus 77 twice. And you'll get your base angle, your vertical angle. That's it. Mile, pretty easy. That's all there is to it. That's the mile. They give you a triangle with some markings and throw a number at you and you find the rest. Medium really isn't that bad. Just requires a little algebra. So number 4. I'm not going to solve these. I'm just going to show you what they should look like. So this is the vertex angle. That means these two angles are equal. And that is how you set it up. You will set them equal to each other. That's it. I'm not going to walk you through the equation. I know by now you guys are okay with that. But that's it. They're the congruent base angles at an equal time between them. Done. That's all. Everybody have questions on that one? Okay? Once again, you'll find out if these are the equal angles if you create your V. So any angle outside the V should be equal to each other. So once again, these are congruent vertical angles. And you will set them equal to each other. And be done after you solve it. So same thing as you. Number 6. These are sides, okay? Now, one thing a lot of people mess up with triangles, sides never add up to 180. Sides can be whatever they want. Sides can add up to 3 if they want to be 1, 1, 1, 1. Sides never have a destined number. The only thing in a triangle is the inside 3 angles out of the 180. These are sides. So these are the congruent sides because this has to be the vertical angle. And those are equal. equal legs. Because if those two are the base angles, that means I make my V down here, and these two marked sides are equal. Alright? Now let me make and create a challenging problem. So I would like you to write this down. And I'll give you time to do that. Don't write this yet. Purposely trying to move it around. Now you can start drawing. Show you how you solve this. It says 4x plus 5. All right. Always, I can tell you, one thing that will help is if you just go ahead and draw your V in there. Now look where that V is. That angle inside that mouth cannot be equal to any other angle. That's the rules of the isosceles triangle. That means that 3x and that 4x plus 5 are not the two equal angles. Did you guys catch that? Those are not two equal angles. If you want to add this all up to 180, you got to have 3 angles. You only have 2. So by rules of the isosceles triangle, you got to know that the base angles are equal and how to identify those base angles. How do you identify the base angles is identify your vertex angle, sorry, and that means this angle and this angle must be the two congruent angles. Now, I can identify all 3 angles if I know that I can duplicate the 4x plus 5. Because if I have one base angle, I really have both, because they are equal to each other. If one's 70, the other's 70. If one's 3x, the other's 3x. If one's 4x plus 5, the other one's 4x plus 5. Now how you would solve this one is you would actually combine them all in a really nasty big equation and solve, make it equal to 180 because they are all 3 angles. Or you could have just done this. Combine your like terms first. 4x, 4x, 3x makes 11x. Your 2 5s makes 10 equals 180. And that's the isosceles triangle's rules. Equilateral triangle. Tells me it's equilateral. First things first, we're going to make it super easy. One side's 9. All sides are 9. All angles are 60. Done. Moving on. All these sides are marked. That means all sides are equal. So all sides will be a 24. That means if all sides are equal, all angles are equal, and all angles are 60. I'm not going to spend much time on easy ones. Moving on. Now, here's where people have trouble. We have to solve for x and solve for y. First thing I want you to know is that which ones are on angles and which ones are on sides. Are you okay with understanding that x is inside an angle and the sides are marked with y's? You guys recognize that, okay? The x is pointing into an angle, the y's are all on sides. I said only the angles add up to 180. The sides can add up to whatever they want. So only think 180 inside. Well, what's this corner going to be? What's every corner of an equilateral triangle? Isn't it 60? Right? So that's how you solve for x. 7x minus 3 equals 60. Solve that, you got x. Okay? Now, how would you do y? This is what people don't like. Is they want to say 3 sides, it's a triangle, so do I add them up equal to 180? The answer is no. And that's a very common mistake, so I'm going to try to stop you from making that right away. They are sides. They do not add up to 180. They could, but we do not go with 180. If it's an equilateral triangle, the sides are all equal. But they give you 3 of them. Not happy about this. But the way you solve for y is pick 2 of them and make them equal to each other. That is it. I know it's hard because it gives you options. You could pick these 2. You could pick these 2. That's what makes it difficult, because it gives you options. So any 2 you want to pick, just pick 2 and make them equal, because all sides are equal. And I'll just stop with that one. So do not add them up equal to 180. Sides could, but we don't use it. We use 180 only on the inside angles.
Right, I hope.